Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. Or perhaps the not-so-space program, as the case may be today, because today, in this particular video, we are going to be focusing on a space plane. Rather than going out above Kerbin's atmosphere into the depths of space, we're going to merely have a bit of a cruise, a bit of an expedition perhaps. Most of the way to the North Pole, in fact. And though what we are going to build, this massive spaceplane here in the spaceplane hangar, though it is fully capable of getting to the North Pole fairly easily and fairly quickly, we're going to take our time. Because this is not simply because we want to get to the North Pole that we're doing this, we are doing this in order to plant down a series of consecutive flags, target markers, for the Kerbal Polar Expedition 2. Now, the Kerbal Polar Expedition 1, for those of you who don't know, was a series of live streams over the course of several days that I did last year in the year of 2013, and we managed to raise a hell of a load of money for charity, specifically charity water. Now, I'll be talking a bit about exactly how the Kerbal Polar Expedition 2 is going to work, in that it will be fairly similar, in fact, but that's not really the focus of this video. More so in this video I want to talk I just want to bring you a KSP video. I want to show you this preparation that's been done. Because originally, as you may have guessed from the title, the Kerbal Polar Expedition simply drove. It drove all the way from KSC to the North Pole. Or did it now? Because no, that's actually not quite true. We were intending to drive all the way from KSC to the North Pole, but we did not succeed. And as a result, here is the second attempt, coming this August, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, yes, trying again, the first one didn't succeed. We got a certain amount of the way, and the reason we didn't get all the way, or the reason we didn't do... I suppose the reason we did as badly as we did, because to be honest we only made it about a third of the way there, which isn't great. The reason we did so badly is because of our route. We chose to go a more of a... I don't know, I guess... I'm not entirely sure what the thinking was. We can blame it on the Matt Dennis though, because he was the navigation officer. But essentially, we ended up trying to clamber over mountains and drive up and down valleys, and it was all very, very awkward. And as a result, after experiencing a lot of crashes... Oh yeah, I'll tell you another reason why it wasn't so successful. After experiencing a lot of crashes as a result of our expedition buggy, which I designed aesthetically rather than practically, so it didn't work quite so well. Oh, things will be changing, we'll be doing things differently. I can tell you that for sure. Anyway, the second Kerbal Polar Expedition. It is the second of our now annual charity livestream events, where we're going to endeavour to drive a buggy all the way from the Kerbal Space Centre to the North Pole of the planet Kerbin, and whilst raising money for charity water, which for those of you who don't know is an organisation committed to providing sources of clean water to those who are in dire need of it. Last year, in the first Kerbal Polar Expedition, we raised $10,723, and we did so over the course of 5 consecutive days of live streaming. This year's Kerbal Polar Expedition 2 needs to raise more. That is simply the target. We're not going to set a very specific number. Well, no, it's going to be a very specific number, actually. It's going to be very specific. We raised $10,723 last time. Our goal this year is to raise $10,724. You'll be able to watch the event live on Twitch at my Twitch channel, which is simply /HOCgaming, and a link to that is in the description of all my videos. And that's going to be very, very interesting. Now, before I continue, just want to show you this. In the bottom right of the screen, I've put a little circle, a little map of Kerbin, and essentially all this is our journey to place these markers. Now, I've largened it here. We're going to go from this to this. So that is the route we are going to take. You can see on the left last time we went up, and then where that big cluster of ships is where we managed to get to. And of course this time we have to get all the way there. So we're taking a different route, taking somewhat less suicidal route perhaps. and this is the Expeditionary force that we are flying very low to the ground right now, not being particularly efficient. But we're flying these out here to place those markers that you can see on that map down in the bottom right hand corner. And on that map, our lines that you just saw us draw in very quickly are going to fade in very slowly over the course of the video. I thought it might be an interesting thing to do, you know, just to show some sort of progression throughout this 25-minute or so video. Anyway, so you'll be able to watch the Kerbal Maps Expedition 2 live on Twitch, or if you aren't around for the times, which I'll talk about in just a second, you can catch up with it afterwards on YouTube. I'll be uploading it here as soon as possible, directly after each stream. There'll probably be a delay of about a day, I'd imagine. So we'll do the first stream, and then we'll do the second stream, and then the first stream will be uploaded, and then we'll do the third, and then the second stream will be uploaded, and so on and so forth. Also, additionally, to support the event, you'll be able to buy Kerbal Polar Expedition merchandise. Now, I'll need to actually do some designing or get some people in. If you have any fantastic ideas that you think would look great on a mug or on a t-shirt, you can of course send them to me, and we'll get in contact and we'll talk about getting them put on some merchandise. Or, alternatively, to support the event, you'll be able to donate directly to the cause through our fundraising campaign on Charity Water's website, which is charitywater.org/Kerbal Polar Expedition 2. I'll also put a link in the description to that. All the money raised through ad revenue on Twitch, ad revenue on YouTube, the merchandise, and all the donations throughout the duration of the campaign will be used to fund a clean water project in a developing country. Now, last year, we raised $10,700 something, and it takes them approximately 18 months as we bring our expeditionary plane down for a landing. Technically, we could have gone further, and I think we'll be able to go further in the first day than just how far we've come, but I like the sight of this little freshwater puddle. I think it's quite an appropriate way to end the first day. So, or at least a feature to pass on the first day, with any luck. So yes, all the money raised will be sent in and given to this cause, and it takes them approximately 18 months to go from fundraising campaign end to actually using and actually creating the project that's created. Now, the first campaign we did, with all that money raised, it is very nearly time. It is almost time for that money to be turned into fresh water for people in Ethiopia, and into images for us to take a look at. Now, with any luck, we'll actually have those images around about August time. That is only 12 months, but they say it takes up to 18 months. And when I last contacted them to check, they said it was going to be happening, or the money was going to be sent around December time last year. So, I don't know, it's possible. Possible, but not certain. Whatever the case, certainly by next year, by the third one, certainly then we'll have had our images from the first, and we'll be able to show them, have a little bit of proof, just to see exactly what our money's been doing. And just to set your worries at ease, if you're a bit skeptical about this, they are a registered charity, they have been around for a very long time, got a lot of support, and they are very well known. And as such, it is they are very, very reliable. I'm sure that they are not scamming us, and in turn, I'm hoping that you'll be sure that I'm not scamming you. And I've reduced my responsibility for the money by putting all the donations go directly through their website. The merchandise, the ad revenue and stuff, I'll be releasing statements to show that I've transferred it and donated it to the page, and you'll be able to see that on the donation page. So everything should be good. And additionally, as we set off, having placed the first marker, and we now turn ourselves around, going to follow the coast, because this land seems a great deal flatter, which actually may be a problem. We may actually end up dying of boredom, because driving is going to take a very long time, for those of you who haven't quite grasped that idea yet. We managed an average of something like 5 meters per second, I believe, which is terrible when you have a max speed of 20 meters per second last year. But regardless, this way should be better, if a little bit boring, because we are not going to be traversing so many mountains. Perhaps later on we will be. Also, draw your attention to the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can see that the red one is now fully faded in, and this orange one is in the process of fading in. Right, additionally, as an additional benefit to watching the stream live or simply just being part of the event, to try and raise some more money. Once we reach our goal of $10,724, I'll be turning on my face cam for the first time ever. Ever wondered what I look like? Well, here is the chance to find out. Even if you're not so interested in donating to charity, perhaps that's a little bit of an incentive. And it's also, I think it's quite fun, you know, I think it'll be quite a fun thing to do. As I've made out by my irregularity of uploads and my uploading of different content recently, I'm taking YouTube a lot less seriously. Just going with the flow, uploading videos as and when I want, and videos of what I want to do. Such as the Skyrim mod, which was very fun to do. Very, very fun indeed. On that note, if you would like to hire Harv as a voice actor for your game or project, you can contact me at HOCgaming.live.what? HOCgaming@live.co.uk. All contact information and links to all relevant stuff is always, as always, in the description of this video. Now let's see, where should we be placing this second marker? The first one was placed less than a fifth of the way there. So we ideally, by the end of the first live stream, will have made it past the first marker. So this stretch is going to be significantly greater than the distance from the Kerbal Space Center to the first one. And I'm hoping, and it seems it seems quite reasonable to place it level with the marker for the 4th day. Now, marker for the 4th day, so we'll have to have covered the same distance in twice. In one half the time, even, not twice. I'll have to cover the same distance as we covered in the entire... Oh, what am I talking about? It's this map view, it keeps on confusing me. No, that wasn't the 4th marker. The 2nd marker here is going to be placed parallel with the 3rd marker. So same distance in 2/3 the amount of days. Also, this is a bit risky. Trees everywhere. Make for great scenery when driving, not so great when you're trying to land a plane. Now, for those of you who don't know, I say that a lot, don't I? For those of you who don't know, I'm going to stop saying that. It annoys me more than it annoys you. So I'm going to stop. Trees are perhaps not so big a threat to planes as you may think. Now, we can come down slow, bring it in. And I'm just waiting for a moment to land, because I'd like to be a bit more realistic, you know. I'm not going to go through a tree. I'll open up the landing gear and I'll tilt the nose up just to clear it over this last section. Engines now completely off, and just as we skim over these 2 trees here, just a little bit of flaring up, ooh, nearly clipped the trees, and now we have a bit of a runway to come down in. But yes, the trees themselves aren't quite so dangerous as it may appear because they do not have any collision meshes. You can simply pass straight through them just like you can rocks. In fact, the trees are quite interesting. If you don't know... No, not gonna say it. Not gonna say for those of you who don't know. Trees can be enabled in the settings menu. There's an option called Terrain Scatter. Work in progress. That's what it's called. And look, the orange marker down on the bottom right-hand globe has nearly faded all the way in. We'll get one guy out and he'll go place the marker. With a little inspirational messages on them, perhaps. At the time I was quite tired. I was watching Gopher at the same time. Gopher is a Let's Player of Skyrim. Some of you may be thinking that, you're quite obsessed with Skyrim now, aren't you, Harvey? I have a theory that whatever games I play is entirely dictated by Enter Elysium. Seriously, Attack on Titan tribute game, he was the one who showed me that. Skyrim, he didn't show me it, but now that he's doing a Let's Play, I've become obsessed with it, and I'm playing it every night and every day during my Easter holidays, which I really should be using to revise. However, there is one good aspect of that, which is that playing Skyrim has made me interested in watching someone else play Skyrim, apart from just Enter Elysium. Although, if you are watching his Let's Play, or if you aren't, you should definitely go watch it. But this other guy called Gopher, he's got several 100,000 subscribers, and he does his series Let's Play Skyrim Again. And I've skipped the first part where I've already played through in my own playtime, and I'm now watching his continuation after where I got to when I first played the game through. Not that I finished it. I didn't finish the game. Ah, I missed what that text said then. Ah, hopefully you were paying more attention to the video than I am. This is a trait of HOCgaming. I like to talk and go off on tangents, and I just let the video play in the background, and occasionally when I run out of things to say, I'll reference it. I'll just use it as a resource to stop me from being too silent. So yes, watching this guy's Let's Plays, recommend them. He's a Scottish guy, got a great voice. Really enjoy listening to his voice. What is it about Scottish people, hey? What is it about their voice that makes them nice to listen to? Scott Manley? Now Gopher? Who will be next? Anyway, his videos are very long. They are usually about, probably averaging around 45, maybe 50 minutes in length, and that is perfect for me because I can just put them on, listen to his beautiful Scottish accent, and then just write out my revision that I need to be doing. In fact, on my desk right in front of me, as we get back in the plane, get ready to take off. Do you like my seating arrangements, by the way? I like this seating. In fact, we'll be seeing something quite interesting about the seating fairly soon, after we place the next marker, I believe. But before that, I'll talk about my geography revision, which is on the desk, staring at me, saying, "You should be doing me." And I'm looking at it going, "No, I'm commentating a video right now, this is highly unprofessional." Geography case studies. Yes. Basically, I'm just writing out all these case studies of different geographical locations and the effects on those locations. It's really rather boring. Science. Science is my topic. Science is better than geography, isn't it? Geography is essentially just very specified science with a load of humanitarian nonsense loaded on top. And hey, looking at the map, or we would be looking at the map if I went back to that view, we have just passed, parallel to the North Pole, you know, the distance to the North Pole, just passed parallel with our end point, where we got to last year in the Kerbal Polar Expedition. And then you may be wondering, well hang on, why are there markers at the North Pole then? Why are there ships and Kerbals up there? What happened was that we landed over to the left of where we are currently, and then, oh, I just noticed that we're running out of fuel. Ooh, we're getting very low on fuel actually. We placed those, we got to where we did, driving, ran out of time on the scheduled live streams, and so we flew in a plane. Excuse me. And it was rather like this plane actually, with one key difference. Plane was not created by myself, it was in fact designed by C7. I suppose you could say that any plane in KSP, apart from modded planes of course, any plane in KSP was designed by C7 because he is the Kerbal developer of the original spaceplane parts. So yeah, one of his planes, we used that to fly after a bit of a hasty landing, very close, very nearly broke. After a bit of a hasty landing, we managed to pick up all our Kerbals and just to transport them by air to the North Pole, which was quite a shame. And it was shameful as well. I was disappointed. I genuinely hoped, starting the expedition, I hoped we'd be able to get there, but was not to be, because it was all Matt Dennis's fault. Yeah, all his fault. It was because of the mountains. It was bad luck. Bad luck. In fact, you may have heard of this web browser extension called Kerbal Maps. We used it during the expedition. And the developer of Kerbal Maps contacted me recently saying, "Hey, I can use my software to plot you a less suicidal, or more, if you would prefer, a more suicidal course, to get to the North Pole and make it a bit more feasible if you'd like. And I could also go place the markers for you if you like." To which I replied, "Sure, that'd be great if you really want to do that, absolutely, that's wonderful." And I think I replied a bit too late because he hasn't replied. This was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hopefully he'll reply at some point. Kerbal Maps is a fantastic resource. Anyway, here we go. Expeditionary marker target number 3. What inspirational message will this guy put down? We can only wonder. "You're doing great," he says. I assume, at least. That's a bit of a downer. Which Kerbal are you? Oh, I can't remember. But yes, the Kerbal Polar Expedition 2 will be happening every day from Wednesday, August 6th of 2014 to Sunday, August 10th. And we'll be driving north from 5 PM till 9 PM British Summer Time. That is equivalent to 12 midday to 4 PM on the east coast of the US. For other time zones and stuff, take a look at the expedition link in the description. We've got a page up on Charity Water, and unfortunately I created it a bit too early, because as our plane gets ready to take off and place the final marker, as it gets ready, there we go, as it's about to do that now, it turns out that turns out the Charity Water campaigns have a limited duration, in that they can only be active for 90 days. So you can go to the page now, and technically you could donate now, but don't, save it. Because I'm hoping they will sort it, and they've given me their word that they will. Hopefully, yeah, they've said that they'll be able to change the duration. By the time this one expires, they'll just renew it automatically, and then we'll have time, we'll be able to donate during the actual event, because August is more than 90 days away. So yes, and look at this beautiful Kerbal, burning up in the atmosphere. Isn't it wonderful? Anyway, back to wartime speed. So, we're on our way to place the final marker. And yes, as I was saying, any extra details you'd like to know about can be found at various links in the description. Bringing it down now, 15 kilometers. You've noticed how we have gone progressively higher. First, placing the first marker, we were cruising quite low to the ground. Placing the second marker, a bit higher. Third marker, very high. Fourth marker, even higher. Fifth marker, 15 kilometers high. Can see the curvature of Kerbin. Really quite good. Now, we're not entirely out of fuel, but I'm thinking I'll save some so that I can just turn around and actually make our way a little bit over here. And we're travelling surprisingly fast. It feels, you can really tell when you're doing time acceleration, and when I'm speeding up in post, you can really tell and get a sense of speed of moving over the landscape. Trust me, we won't get that sense of speed during the Kerbal Polar Expedition. Oh no, we won't. Unless we're bouncing up and down on terrain perhaps. Ah, more trees. And here we go. The final marker, about 2 minutes left on the recorded footage. And we can bring it down. Look, it's pine trees. No, it's not. Is it? I don't know my trees. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at general knowledge and stuff like that. It's all geography, and pff, who needs geography? I certainly don't. I'll have my physics, thank you very much. And we bring down the plane, nice and gently. Glad I didn't crash. I would have had to fly a plane all the way back out here. Wouldn't have taken long, I would have just gone up to like 20 kilometers and whew, and got the supersonic speeds. But here we go, the final Kerbin who was sitting on the plains, chilled to death, having stayed there unmoving for a total of an hour now, I believe. No, an hour and... This is about an hour and 40. About an hour and 40 minutes in, I think. I can't remember. Hey, put it this way, it was 2 Gopher videos, right? It was 2 Gopher videos. And there is the flag. The final point. Now, the more observant of you may have realised that, hang on, when you flashed up the finished globe at the start of this video, you had a blue line going from here to the North Pole. Yeah, we're only placing 4 markers because there's already a marker at the North Pole, so we'll see the blue marker just fade in very quickly without us actually going there, because our plane has run out of fuel. I would have liked to have gone all the way there, but was not to be. So this is it, lads. After this, you'll conquer the North Pole. With any luck. And there we go. So, that's pretty much all we have to say for this video. We might as well get this Kerbal back into his seat on the plane, but otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Please come and watch the Kerbal Polar Expedition. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. May not sound it, considering it's going to be 4 hours a day of just driving in essentially a straight line, but we'll be having ghosts on. Yes, we'll be having ghosts. Yeah, it'll be very spooky. That, and we'll be having guests on. Elysium, the Matt Dennis, Ryan the Solar Gamer, Chicken Keeper, Tanuki Chow, Scott Manley, hopefully, if he's available, and several KSP devs and some people from the KSP TV team as well. Tanuki is from the KSP TV team. Ah well. Anyway, you can see in the bottom right there is the final blue marker having faded in now, and we'll end the video with a beautiful time lapse. Thank you very much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked the video, please do like the video. If you'd like Harv to voice act your project or game, then you can contact me at the links in the, or at the addresses in the description of this video. and for more videos, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.